Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9,
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas.
And a big welcome to you on your Wednesday afternoon. I hope all you folks had a really good Veterans Day yesterday. I spent a portion of my Veterans Day yesterday in the dentist chair, so and you know how those things go. So Lee, I hope all you veterans out there, I hope you took advantage of all of your IHOP specials. I hope you went to Outback and got that bloomin' onion. I hope you went. I hope you just enjoyed yourself yesterday. I hope 100 people told you thank you for your service yesterday. And that's from the bottom of my heart. We appreciate what you guys have done throughout the years in your sacrifice and your family's sacrifice for this country. Really, really, thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. I woke up this morning, my usual routine. Everything was fine. Got up, had my coffee. I got up this morning about 4:30. Had my coffee, had my 2 cups of coffee. Waited for my wife and the pups to start stirring. And once they did, I went in and I got the pups and I said, all right, let's go outside for a walk. And as we were walking this morning, I was out and I was like, man, I feel weird. It's like my heart was racing. It's like I just drank 6 cups of coffee. I was like, what is going on? So I didn't think anything about it. I got back in and I opened up my laptop and look at that. Look at what we had. We were right in the middle of a geomagnetic storm this morning and early afternoon, and it is going to continue through this evening. Then I started seeing all of these pictures where these people were seeing the Aurora Borealis. I didn't even know this was going on last night, or I would have certainly checked that out. But they were seeing the Aurora Borealis, and even here locally. I had some people around here locally that saw it last night. And there's another chance that you are going to be able to see it tonight. So right now, as far as the geomagnetic storm is going on, the latest observed was about an S2. That is a moderate solar radiation storm. All right, moderate solar radiation storm. It is predicted that overnight we could go to a G4 or a severe geomagnetic storm that could happen. And by the way, we had a G4 earlier today. We had an S3, the solar radiation storm, which was an S3, which was strong. Then earlier today, we also had a G4, which is severe. So we are looking at maybe something happening tonight. And they say the best time tonight to see the Aurora Borealis, it's going to be down on the horizon, but it will be between, I believe, 9 p.m. and 2 a.m. That's 9 o'clock tonight till about 2 o'clock tomorrow morning. You'll be able to get out there and see hopefully, depending on the amount of light pollution that you have in your area, see that geomagnetic storm. So we'll see what happens tonight. These are weird things, man. Now, this is nothing along the lines of the Carrington event of 1859, but it's still pretty darn severe. And, I was kind of thinking today that what a great time for a bad actor to do something, right? I mean, have a big geomagnetic storm, you throw in a little bug in the electric grid, things go down, blame it on the storm. I don't know. Well, hopefully that will not happen. And hopefully tonight, I won't even say the worst thing, but the only effects of this you will notice is possibly seeing the Aurora Borealis. I've never seen it. I think that would be very cool. I had some friends of mine that went to Iceland, and they actually have tours where you can go and camp out overnight and see the Aurora Borealis. So my friend took, he and his wife went, and they didn't see it, but he took some pictures. He was kind of playing with the f-stop on his camera and all of that, the exposure on his camera. He didn't see it. He didn't think anything about it. Then he started looking through his pictures, and the camera picked it up. And I think that's cool. You might actually be able to see it with a camera tonight. So we'll give you any updates if those things happen. But we did have a strong geomagnetic storm today. We are expected to have another one later on tonight. And today is another big day. Coming up this afternoon in Philadelphia, they're going to be minting the last penny. Yes, the penny is going out of style. I think Scott Bessent is going to be there. They're going to be minting the last penny. They're going to have a big ceremony and all of that stuff. But the penny officially goes out of production today. I'm not sure what time that's going to happen, but we'll certainly let you know. All right, WORD talk line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. We'd love to chat with you. Let's go to Ray in Clinton and talk to him. Ray, welcome. How are you? Ray, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yes, sir. What's up?
Okay. Well, the thing is, I worked in 1987 as a contract engineer, but the company I worked for got called by Boeing that two 747 cargo planes crashed. So the manager of my section where I was working came to me and said, because I worked for Pratt & Whitney, and he says, what can you do about it? I said, I got to take a look at it first to tell you what's wrong. And I did, and then I saw what was wrong. The link that holds the airplane to the engine and vice versa was getting worn out by what I called erratic behavior of the pilots.
Okay.
They weren't using enough rudder to make their turns, and all the torque of the engines was being put on those what's called the thrust link, and it would eventually break it, and of course there'd be a crash. And sure enough, it works with all the jet engines out there, small or big.
All right, there you go. You pilots, use your rudders if you don't mind. Hey, Charlie, I saw the aurora last night around 9:30 in Roseman, North Carolina. Charlie, there's a hold on. Charlie, I was driving home last night, 221 toward Ruffton. Saw under the clouds it was glowing red, and I thought there must be a major fire going on in Rutherford County. Then I remembered the aurora borealis going on, and I moved further towards Ruffton. The red glow went away. It was red behind the clouds. It was weird. That does sound weird. Charlie, these solar storms are getting bigger because of climate change. Yeah, where's Greta Thunberg? Greta, we've got to do something about these geomagnetic storms. Well, ladies and gentlemen, the government shutdown coming to an end. And can you believe how mad the Democrats are? We'll talk about it next. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hitting truth bombs longer than he drives off the tee. It's the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. tap and type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I'm surprised that the loonies on the left haven't tried to blame the geomagnetic storm on global warming. That was wait a minute, hold on. The hotline's ringing. Let me see what I got here. WRD, good afternoon.
How dare you!
Greta Thunberg, what have I done?
You have stolen my dreams.
Greta, you know that the solar geomagnetic storm has nothing to do with carbon emissions, right?
I should be back in school.
Yes, you're exactly right. You absolutely should be back in school. Well, the government shutdown is coming to an end. That could happen at any moment, actually. We'll break down, coming up for you in a little bit, we'll break down what's actually in that package that went from the Senate back to the House. So the House will approve it today. Looks like they've got the votes to do that, no matter what Hakeem Jeffries says. And then they'll send it to the president's desk, and he'll sign it, and everything will be back open. But remember, the same people that told you that this was a Republican shutdown. This is all the fault of the Republicans. And it's the Republicans. They have the House, the Senate, and the White House. This is their shutdown, which it wasn't. They're all of a sudden real mad. And I'm not talking about a little bit mad. I'm talking about big mad. Big mad. Let's take a listen. See, this guy is called the Gray Canary over on TikTok. And he is livid.
The capitulation of a few Senate Democrats is as backstabbing a betrayal as we will ever need to unite as a true Democratic Party and dismantle the leadership that put us in this position.
Yikes.
Mom Donnie has shown us the way. It is time to end the era of the feckless Democrat, too scared to unify the party and stand up to Donald Trump, to stand up to lawlessness, and in this case, to fight for Americans. And let's remember, what Republicans are doing is robbing millions of Americans of their health insurance. It is horrible what Republicans are doing, and it is equally bad that Democrats have lost their spine in standing up to it.
Yikes.
But this is the moment when we recognize that is the old Democratic Party, and it is time to make way for the new Democrats who are born of courage and battle for the American people, not for bowing down out of fear.
Wow, yikes. I thought he was going to have a coronary there for a minute. I was getting ready to call 911. Somebody get out the defibrillator for that guy. You don't talk about having too much coffee. All right, well, let's just go back and just kind of break that down a little bit. He's all about Mondani. This is the Mondani. Oh, please, sir. Please, Gray Canary on TikTok, please let Mondani be the new Democrat Party. Please let him and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar and Bernie Sanders, please let them be the new Democrat Party. Oh, I would love that. It would be glorious. Because you see, Mondani, he went in there and he was promising all those people he's going to give them all this free stuff. You're going to get free this. You're going to get free that. You're going to get free buses. Guess what ain't happening? This, that, and free buses. None of the promises that Mondani made in New York are going to be able to come to fruition. None of them. Absolute, not a single stinking one. But they are all in for Mondani. It's basically nuts like that. Those crazies. So please let them be the future of the Democrat Party. I would love that. Nothing would make me happier. Because that would show the American people, that would show the vast majority of the Democrats out there, not really those Democrats, but the Democrats that, that we were used to growing up with, show just how far to the left their party has gone. And those policies if they were to catch on, and I don't believe they will because I try to be an optimist, the American people will reject them soundly. Once we see this experiment with Mondani in New York and how he's not going to be able to do anything that he promised, and how actually people are going to flee New York with what he is going to accomplish, that'll show them. That'll show them that all of these promises are absolutely nothing. Even old Stephen Colbert was criticizing the Democrats on his show last night.
So yes, the shutdown may have been long and painful for millions of Americans, but at least it achieved jack squat.
Yes, it achieved jack squat. You are exactly right. The one thing that it did achieve was to cause a lot of stress for a lot of people, a lot of angst for a lot of people, and some people had to go without their SNAP benefits for a little bit. But that was all because of the Democrats. Let's go see what old Colbert has to say more.
That is, and we know why Jack is squatting. But these Democratic defectors did get one concession.
They're defectors. And remember, these Democrats are defectors. We'll get back to that.
Senate Majority Leader John Thune promised them a vote on the ACA in December, because that's when people get down to serious work. December. You work about 6 days, and half of that is spent doing a mandatory office door decorating contest. Welcome to accounting, or should I say, the Polar Express. Now you got hot chocolate. No surprise, the vast majority of Democrats do not want this. None of those...
He's really going out on a limb there. I think the vast majority of Democrats do because they knew what damage it was doing to the Democrat Party. But I love the way that he called them defectors. These 8 defectors. You mean the defectors that started getting air traffic controllers paid? That started getting our military paid? That started getting the SNAP benefits paid? Those people are now defectors. Now, Senator John Kennedy, he laid this out pretty well not long ago. He said that Schumer was going to find about 5 Democrats, and he was going to tell them to go and vote for the bill. He couldn't do it himself because he was, anti-opening the government. But about 5 to 8 Democrats to vote for the bill. And they were going to kick him in the pants a little bit. But it wouldn't be long, just a little while, and they'd welcome him back into the fold and everything else. So, defectors. So let's all remember that. When the government gets back up and running, it's because the defectors on the Democrat on the Democrat side, they voted to keep it open. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Hold on. I thought this was all the Republicans' fault. I thought, hey, Charlie, our dogs were so restless last night from 11 to 3, I couldn't sleep. Oh, how about that? Yeah, interesting. Charlie, it sounds like the Gray Canary is calling Mondani the way, the truth, and the life, doesn't it, though? He makes him out to be like that. Absolutely did. Charlie, that dude sounded like Mussolini. You know what? And if you look at the video, he's kind of got that Mussolini fascist, little Hitler-esque sort of movement there. He's very animated. Hey, Charlie, let's see here. What have we got here? Charlie, did you see 5,000 New York City cops are retiring January 1st of 2026? Yes, my neighbors and I were talking about that last night. My wife and I were out walking the dogs, and we ran into them like we usually do. And we were talking about that. People are going to be leaving. 5,000 of them. Charlie, what do you think about Lindsey Graham giving one of his paychecks away? Wasn't that sweet of him? I wonder if he was what he has up his sleeve. Well, let me tell you something, Marshall. What really gets me is during the government shutdown, and we went on for what, 40 days? 41 days, something like that? 40, 41 days? Lindsey Graham donated his salary from the Senate to Tunnels to Towers. It was over $20,000. And my only thought when I saw that was, well, two thoughts. Number one, this is all for show. Lindsey Graham would not be doing this if he weren't being primaried, would not be doing this if it wasn't an election season. And number two, I'd like to make $20,000 every 4 days, every 40 days, wouldn't you guys? That would be pretty doggone sweet. When we get back, the government funding bill is going to be voted on tonight, and it will actually allow Republicans to do something. We'll tell you what it is. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Honest views, trusted news. This is the Charlie James Show.
On News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas. Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WORD talk line. We'll talk to Doug in Greenville. How you doing, Doug?
Hey, Charlie, I'm doing great. I hope you're doing great today.
Yes, sir. What's going on?
You had talked about Lindsey Graham giving a check, and I kind of have two questions on that. One, I know they get all kinds of little perks, not just their base pay, so I wonder what all those perks add up to. And my second question, you might know this, do they get paid extra for certain committees that they sit on?
No, not in government. Not like if he's on the Senate Intelligence Committee. He doesn't really get paid extra for that. I think you get a little bit of a spiff there if you're the chair.
Because I know they get all the housing allowance, the office allowance.
Right.
They get all kinds of stuff. But, you know, I kind of thought about it because obviously some committees you're considered to be more powerful than others.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering if there's some sort of hidden pocketbook depending upon which committee you're on.
Oh, there's a bunch of hidden pocketbooks, Doug. Because as a member of Congress, you can also sit on some of these NGO boards of directors and get paid handsomely. That's why all these people were so against getting rid of USAID, Doug. I appreciate your call. Thank you. So in this spending bill that came back from the House, from the Senate to the House, there was a little something in it. For this, we'll go to Fox News.
Some Republicans are joining Democrats expressing concern. Then Special Counsel Jack Smith, though, ultimately was never able to take then former President Donald Trump to trial as the Supreme Court stepped in. Now, the way this provision is written, it's tucked away on page 217 through 229 of the funding bill. Senators could bring lawsuits and sue the federal government using taxpayer money if federal law enforcement seizes or subpoenas their data without notifying them. The damages could mean each senator could get $500,000 for each violation. Senator Lindsey Graham was one of the senators who later found out that his data got into the hands of Jack Smith's team. Here he is a few weeks ago. Watch.
If they violated my constitutional rights, if they trampled on the separation of powers involving me, I'm going to sue the hell out of these people.
Democrats in the House not amused by this. In fact, the leader of the party, Hakeem Jeffries, hoping some Republicans cross the aisle to join Democrats and take this provision out before it's passed.
The notion that 8 Republican senators signed off by John Thune and the Republicans, apparently in the Senate and in the House, would give themselves the ability, essentially, to rip millions of taxpayer dollars away from the American people so they could line their pockets?
Jack Smith's attorney has gone on the record to say a number of people have stated falsely that Mr. Smith tapped senators' phones.
Well, I got an idea. Let's go to court. But that's not going to happen. It could have happened. I wouldn't have a problem with it happening. I don't have a problem with if you go in and you essentially modern-day wiretap a senator without a subpoena or without their knowledge. I wouldn't have a problem with senators or congressmen or average people being able to sue the hell out of the government. That should be our prerogative. When they overstep their bounds, we should be able to take some sort of legal action. But we're not going to have to worry about that anymore because Mike Johnson is taking it out. Mike Gutless Johnson is taking this provision out. He says he's going to do a standalone provision. Now, I understand that. Now, and honestly, I'm not sure how this is going to work. So basically, this is a provision in there that says senators can sue Jack Smith and the federal government for invasion of their constitutional rights, right? That passed the Senate, okay? Now it's in the House. The House says they're going to take it out. Now, I don't know if that would be considered something that was already voted on by the Senate, and therefore it only needs to be approved by the House before it gets approved, or if the House is going to have to come up with a version of that bill send it to the Senate where it will fail. Because remember, you got to have 60 votes, and we're going to have to go through all that rigmarole. I know the government won't shut down, but you got to try to get those 60 votes. It was already in that bill. Why not just leave it there? I was like, oh, yeah, that sounds good to me. You guys vote on this. Vote on this tonight. Go ahead. I wouldn't have a problem with that. Not one little bit. But again, this is Mike Johnson. Just had a huge, giant victory over the Democrats, once again snatching defeat out of the jaws of victory. This is what gets me. They have just proven to you that if you just play the game and wait them out, they will cave. But the first chance these Republicans in the House get, they're like, we don't want to make the Democrats mad. We don't want to make the Democrats mad. Make them mad. I've been having so much fun watching these Democrats get mad. Oh, it's been so good for my heart. It really has. It pleases me no end. When these people start spitting, their eyes fill with blood, I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. It brings me a lot of joy. It really does. So why go ahead and why go back? It's just, and I've used this analogy before. George Costanza on Seinfeld, that one episode where he decided he was going to do everything the opposite of what he would normally do. And all of a sudden, things started happening for him. He got a date with the girl in the diner. Things were happening at work. Everything was good, just being the opposite. But then somewhere along the line, he just went back to being George. I guess, as the Bible says, a dog returns to its vomit, right? Yeah. So why don't they learn? They need to learn. Literally nobody cares if the Democrats are mad. They're going to be mad anyway. Anyway. Charlie, probably Mike Johnson will be named as a defendant, maybe so. Charlie, why should you be able to sue to get taxpayer money? It comes out of the perpetrator's pocket. You spent too much time in Charleston, Charlie. You spent wait a minute. Hold on. That's a bunch of BS. That's a bunch of BS. So let me ask you something, 752. If the government does you wrong, if the government comes in and does something and you sue the government, would you sue them, or would you sit back and say, wait a minute, that's taxpayer dollar. I don't want to take taxpayer. No, you would sue the snot out of them. And I don't care if it's city, county, federal. Let's say you come home from work one day and your house is gone. Oh, your house is gone. Why is my house gone? Well, the city said tear it down. County said tear your house down. Oh, man, they got the wrong house. Well, that's just too bad. Are you not going to sue them? Let's say they wiretapped you. It's got nothing to do with Charleston, and I'm so sick and tired of hearing that BS. I worked in Charleston for just as long as I've been here. So, at least at the last station. So, that's a BS argument. Why shouldn't they be able to sue? Right? Charlie, it's not like taxpayers pay to defend anybody in court. It's not like, let's say, New York wouldn't be doing that to defend Letitia James. Look how much money the government spent of your taxpayer dollars with all of these accusations against Donald Trump. Just take a look at it. Now, sorry, 752. Wrong again. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Sometimes all you got to do is be patient. And I know that's the hard part. Patience is the hard part. Don't ever pray for patience, because God's going to give you some things to be patient about. All right? That'll teach you. Patience, they say, is a virtue, and it is. When all of this stuff started happening with all of this trans ideology, and it really kicked off in North Carolina with the bathroom bill up there. And all of a sudden you had all of these boycotts of North Carolina, blah, 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 just because of something that made absolute common sense. Men are men. Wormans are wormans. And there is no mixing of the two except in the rare, ultra rare case of hermaphroditism. And that is extremely rare. All right? Men are men, women are women. Different genetics. And how that whole thing got muddled is really beyond me, because all of a sudden you had all of these guys deciding, you know what? being a man is hard. I don't want to be a man no more. I'm going to go be a woman. So they go put on a dress, go put on a wig, little makeup, something frilly, and they go masquerading as women. And then because they decided to masquerade as a woman, they decided that it would be okay for them to use the women's facilities. Whether it's the women's restroom, the women's showers, the women's locker room, whatever it is. And we thought, that is crazy. We got to stop that. So here in South Carolina, we had a bill to stop that under Nikki Haley. And Nikki Haley said this, we don't even need this bill here. We're gonna squash this. And Lee Bright paid the price for that. But you see, some people are a little more forward-thinking than others, because this was on the cusp of being a huge problem. Because not only did they want to use the women's restroom and showers and changing rooms, then they wanted to compete against women in sports. Even though there were many, many, many scientific studies that have shown that physically men are superior physically to women. Now, I'm not talking about all women. I'm not talking about all men. I mean, I couldn't go up against an LPGA golfer and expect to even come close to what they do. But in general, men have more muscle mass, they have greater bone density, they have greater oxygen volume, they have greater lung capacity, they have greater or faster fast twitch fibers in their muscles. That's just a scientific fact. In fact, if you go look at the world record, and I think every single track and field event, and we're talking at all levels. We're talking the highest professional level, we're talking Olympic level, we're talking Pan Am Games level. The women's world record, in the vast majority of the cases, I'm talking like well over 95% of the cases, the women's world record in those events is beaten by high school boys. Happens every single time. I do believe the only record that I could find, and I did some studies on this, the only record that I could find where a female competitor beats a high school, that record beats a high school record, is the shot put. I think that was the only one. Okay? So I mean, we've known this. We've known this. Well, now, And we've been talking out against this. This should not be happening. It's, oh my gosh, we had a huge fight over it here in South Carolina. Women's sports should be protected. Well, I don't know. I don't know about that. And it wasn't about that. I mean, we knew those were the facts, but the people down in Columbia, they were like, well, we might be losing some of them tournaments that we have here. We might not be getting some of that revenue from the NCAA. We might be sanctioned. So we're going to vote against this. Okay, it was all about money. For those people down in Columbia, it's all about money. Washington, too. So now the Olympics has finally, it looks like they are going to ban, we're very close to a ban on transgender women competitors in the Olympics in 2028. Now, there are some athletes that have differences of sexual development after what happened in Paris in boxing. Under the existing rules, each sport is empowered to decide if a transgender women can compete if their testosterone levels fall below a designated threshold. But the International Olympic Committee, under new president Kirsty Coventry, is in discussion about a dramatic policy shift that would impose a blanket ban across all sports in the Olympics. That should absolutely happen. Absolutely happen. That would prevent people like Laurel Hubbard, who won the weightlifting in Tokyo in 2021. Hubbard transitioned in 2012. While Olympic sources have concerned that such a measure is very much the direction of travel, it is, excuse me, it is highly unlikely to come into force before the Winter Olympics in Italy next February, but we will see. Let's go to Jimmy and Honia Path. How you doing, Jimmy?
Hi, Charlie. Thanks for having me. Long-time listener, first-time caller.
You get the bell then. There you go, man. All right, what's up?
You was talking about the bathroom thing. I just wanted to bring up, my wife's company was recently acquisitioned, and they had to sign paperwork yesterday stating that the new company policy is anyone can use any bathroom that they choose.
Really? So there's
Yes,
still the DEI, the whole trans ideology is still out there in the workplace, in corporate America.
Yes, sir. I mean, this is a small company in Hodges, and it's mostly, 60 and 70-year-old women aside from my wife.
Yeah.
And, they just have to accept that, this is the new rules, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Unbelievable. It really is. Gosh, man.
Yes, sir.
Our thoughts and prayers go out to your wife and everybody that works in that company, Jimmy. But just remember, just because you're a man and you transition to a woman, it doesn't mean you're not going to have your prostate exam at the age of 40. Just remember that. All right? WRD Talk Line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. When we get back, the camping ordinance in the city of Greenville, it has passed its first reading. Where does it go from here, and what does it entail? We'll talk to John DeWorkin about it. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Sunny.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie?
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America, God shed his grace on thee and crown thy good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea.
America is back.
And we are back. Well, the city of Greenville is looking at doing something about the homeless problem, and one of it is a camping ordinance. Let's talk with Greenville City Council member John DeWorkin. John, welcome to the program. Hope you're doing well, sir. I know you're busy.
Well, no. Thank you so much for having me. Really, hey, listen, if that song doesn't get you pumped up, I don't know what will.
Isn't that the truth?
It's fantastic.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
how did this whole camping ordinance come about with the city of Greenville?
Yeah, I mean, really since COVID, we've had a real uptick of homelessness in our community. And so I actually took a trip to San Diego 4 years ago, and I saw a city that literally has been ruined. And so I came back to Greenville, been working on it since, and really got working hard on it earlier this spring. And I said, we got to do something here. We really need to put together something where it says, hey, it's not okay for you to make your bed in a park or plaza right away, an alley behind someone. So that's not okay. And we didn't have a tool to say that's not okay. Our law enforcement didn't. We didn't have anything on the books. So we got something on the books. But in the meantime, really been on a really good 5-month journey on this. Where yes, we're going to have that ordinance that's going to say you can't make your bed here, but we're also going to focus as well on intervention and trying to get these folks some help as well. So we're still going to say you can't do that, and there are penalties if you do that. But in the meantime, also you got to get up. You can't make your bed here. But we're also gonna make an effort to try to get you help if hopefully they'll take it.
Where would that help be located?
Yeah, so we've got actually Greenville Together is an organization here. And so the city's working with Greenville Together on outreach. So we'll have, there will actually be an outreach team where the outreach team will these are professionals. They'll be able to go out there and say, hey, look, here are the resources that are available. And so then you have service providers in town. So we already have a lot of that. But I think the key to this is to be able to say, look, if you're downtown, it doesn't matter where you are in the city, but if you're on public land, you can't make your bed there. You can't lie there.
So what happens when police officers encounter somebody like that? What would their recourse be?
Yeah, so the penalty if for non-compliance, that is, you don't comply with the police officer's orders, what could happen is you could face a penalty of up to 30 days in jail. There's a $10 fine too, but really it's up to 30 days in jail. But hopefully those are few and far away, and hopefully people will comply. They will have to comply, but hopefully they'll do that, and we can get at this issue.
It is. I mean, it's another tool in fighting homelessness, and you're talking about getting these people into some sort of a facility. Is enough being done? Because when my wife and I go down to Falls Park and we walk the dogs down there, we're always seeing, there are people under the bridge, under the overpass, and things like that. I mean, it is a problem, and it does not look good for the city, and it really leads to more problems, right?
You're absolutely right. It's not good for anyone. It's not good for those people, and it's not good for society as a whole, right? I mean, you want to be able to go to parks and plazas without people that are sprawled out and making their beds there. It's not good. It's not good for anyone. Not good for anyone. So we don't have the tools right now. What this ordinance will provide are, again, on the front end with law enforcement, that it gives the authority to law enforcement to really force compliance, but also it emphasizes beyond that, when that person does comply, beyond that, making sure the professionals understand there's a person there that they can reach out to.
A lot of people are worried that is this going to just drive the homeless into the county?
Well, I don't know, but what I think from my perspective, I probably got enough to worry about with the city, and so
right, we'll let the county worry about it. We'll call Gary Collins and see what he has to say about it over there at the county. So it passed the first reading. What was it? It was a 4-3.
That's right, 4-3.
Yeah.
Very spirited debate, yes. If you
wait. With spirited, I think might be a bit of a polite term, John DeWorkin, because I heard there were some raised voices in that meeting.
There were. I think we particularly had one very passionate councilman who is against these type of ordinances, and so I think that passion came through, and hopefully we'll have cooler heads in this next meeting and have more productive conversation. Even if people dissent on an opinion, that's okay. That makes us all better. But hopefully we'll have some cooler heads this next meeting.
So it passed the first reading. When is the second reading?
The 24th. So Monday, November 24th, and I have all the confidence that it will pass, and have confidence that here's what I believe. I believe that this ordinance can literally change the trajectory of Greenville City for the next generation when it comes to homelessness. Not only in terms of significantly reducing the people that are making their beds and laying down in parks, plazas, rights away, but also on the back end by bolstering, amping up these services that they can help. But I think for probably our listeners, it's probably really, the first step is to say, hey, you can't make your bed here. You can't lie down here.
Now, you said you worked on this for 5 months. Did you find other examples where this has been tried and was successful?
Yeah. So what you've seen since the U.S. Supreme Court passed Grants Pass, which allows municipalities to pass these type of ordinances. I mean, you've got 150 cities and municipalities around the country that have passed this. Even your West Coast cities like Portland and Seattle and Los Angeles, they very recently passed these because that's an important question, because they are in a crisis right now with the amount of homelessness, right? And so what I'm trying to do is to say, instead of waiting until we have an absolute crisis where our parks and plazas are overtaken, instead of waiting for that crisis, let's go ahead and get at it now. Let's get ahead of this before we end up looking like a Portland or Seattle.
Yeah, and that's not very far off. I appreciate it. John DeWorkin, thank you so much for joining us this evening or this afternoon, and we'll be in touch and see how the next reading goes. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Charlie.
Yes, sir.
Take
Take care. We'll be right back. It's the when we get back, if you needed a reason for Jim Clyburn's district to be done away with, I got a good one for you. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of non-stop breaking news and stimulating talk jumpstarts every hour on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9
WORD.
the voice of the Carolinas. Charlie Speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Zach in Anderson. Zach, welcome.
Hey, man, how you doing today?
I'm great, bud. What's up?
Thank you for taking my call. I always
Yes, sir.
enjoy talking with you, man. So I was just listening. I didn't catch the beginning, but I caught like most of it with the guy at the city of Greenville that was talking about the ordinance for the homeless people.
Yeah.
So they're going to open. My opinion on this is they're going to open themselves up to some litigation trying to trespass or block people from being on public property. That's called quite a few police departments, to get sued over the years from trying to ban auditors from public property. And not only that, but I like what you said, too, that it's just going to – a lot of homeless people choose to be homeless. It's not that –
A lot do, yeah.
It's not like they want a life change. They choose that life. And it's just going to push them out into – like you said, it's just going to become someone else's problem.
But here's what I think, Zach, and I understand your point there about moving people along from public property. It is, and I think that's why they made it camping, a camping bill. Like I can't take a Coleman tent down to Falls Park and camp for the night.
Exactly right. Okay.
Well, and
That
so
makes
they're
sense.
saying those you can't do it either. I don't care if you got a bedroll or just a blanket or anything like that. I think the wording of that is very important.
Got you.
Right?
Okay.
So-
I did not hear that part. You're
Yeah.
exactly right.
So we'll see what happens, though. We'll see what happens. It's certainly an issue that's got to be taken care of. Zach, I appreciate it. Dean is in Cashville. Dean, welcome.
Hello, Charlie. Charlie, your program and some people like Mr. Dworkin are one reason I am very thankful that I am in the upstate.
Yeah, thank you.
Our culture has told people for decades that they don't have to achieve anything. And the problem is that while most people will still make it through life, there are those in the population who have to have that little nudge. And furthermore, 2 generations later, if their family doesn't achieve, they don't have the resources to support them. And what society is doing here in that state, we are sending the message, you have to achieve something. And your point about the camping in Asheville, where I have family, the Walmart in Asheville locks up the flashlights in the camping section.
Oh, really?
One reason is if you are going to be out at night, that's a big part. And what you were saying, sadly, that is proven by the locked up flashlights in Ash and the cheap ones too. Thank you for what you do, Charlie.
I appreciate you, Dean. Thank you. Now let's go to Dean in Fountain Inn. Dean, welcome.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for accepting my phone call,
Yes, sir.
and thank you for your service.
I appreciate it. What's going on?
I used to work on the corner of Roper Mountain and Woodruff Road, and we had a severe problem with the homeless camps that are behind the QT and also behind the Days Inn Hotel up there on the corner.
Oh, really?
Yep, we'd come in and they would be used needles laying in the trash can.
Yeah.
There's a bad drug homeless problem in that area.
Yeah, and that's it. I mean, homelessness is usually rampant with drug use, and that's never going to be good. Dean, I appreciate it. I mean, and if we just keep going down this road, and we keep going down the road of liberalism, pretty soon you're going to see people on city council going, "Hey, why don't we have safe injection sites? Why don't we give people who are addicted to drugs a place where they can shoot up safely, Have you seen some of those injection sites? Did you see what happened? Was it New York or Chicago? I think it might have been Chicago, where they had those vending machines that had drug paraphernalia in them, had condoms, had needles, had all of this. Well, you know what happened with those, right? People smashed them up, just stole everything. So liberalism is true insanity. And if we don't stop it at every single moment that we get a chance, if we don't do like Barney Fife said and nip it in the bud, it is going to become a problem. Now, we've got a problem here in South Carolina in the 6th Congressional District. Jim Clyburn, I want you to listen to this exchange between himself and Scott Jennings and another lady over there on CNN. This is amazing. Here we go.
When two courts said to Trump, feed these children, he has appealed that.
Why can't those
Why
two
won't he
judges
feed the children?
Why won't Democrats feed the children? Why don't we have Why don't we have two judges say to Democrats, you must vote to open the government because kids are hungry?
here's the thing.
Do two unelected judges have that authority?
And then he said, what two judges? Excuse me, Jim, Mr. Clyburn, Congressman? The two judges you were just talking about. What about those? He goes on.
Answer the question. You can answer the question with your question all you want to, but the fact of the matter is,
An unelected judge probably does not have the authority to tell the executive branch what to do.
Different races in government. This is my question.
They can and they did. And snaps can work without.
Do you believe as a member of Congress, a judge can compel the executive to spend money that you haven't appropriated?
yes, I do.
Really? Oh, wow.
Yes, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought we didn't want kings.
Nobody
Maybe we
wants
need
king.
king for a day. What do we need? I mean, that is literally a king spending money that is not
The
appropriated.
judge is not a king.
No, you're turning the president into one if he can spend without appropriation.
Well, now, if you got a rainy day fund, it was appropriated at one time. The fund didn't come out of the air. The money is sitting there. Now, they didn't appropriate it yesterday or the day before, but the money was appropriated last year sometime, and the rainy day fund was.
So there you go. So if you ever need a reason to wonder if we need, and by golly, why Merle Smith has not called the House back to start redistricting in South Carolina, it's beyond me. They need to call a special session. Let's go ahead, get it done, get rid of Jim Clyburn's district. First of all, that's the district of the corridor of shame where schools are failing miserably. It is a highly impoverished district. And this is a district that Jim Clyburn has not raised. He has not raised the standard of living for anybody in that district that doesn't have the name Clyburn. If you have the name Clyburn and you live in that district, yes, your lot in life has greatly improved. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show, News Talk 98.9 WO. When we get back, a reporter gave away her dignity. Unbelievable. It's the Charlie James Show, News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When he's not mowing his yard, he's mowing down liberal nonsense. It's the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's go to the WRD talk line. We'll talk to Richard in Dallas. Richard, what do you think about Jim Clyburn?
Well, I got three things real quick. Clyburn, I think Clyburn and Hank Johnson was cut from the same cloth. What do you think,
Yes,
Charlie?
exactly. Let's
Okay. Well, let's move on real quick.
let's
All right, listen, man.
capsize Guam. Yeah.
Okay, you got me. And they're cut from the same cloth. Anyway,
That's right.
All right, here we go. Back pay for federal employees, man, I disagree with that, and I'm explaining it. If you and I as employer said, we're low on work, I call you when it picks back up. 45 days later, they call and say, come on back in, boys. Well, would you expect to get paid for those 45 days when you were non-productive? Yes
I
or no?
wouldn't. I wouldn't.
That's right. No, okay, I disagree with that. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't.
And another thing,
Yeah.
a 50-year mortgage, Charlie.
Oh,
A
no.
50
All right, let's talk about that briefly.
Yeah,
what's,
please.
what's wrong with a 50-year mortgage?
You're adding 20 more years of interest payments onto your loan, okay?
But
in
it's-
the 80s.
But wait a minute, hold on, because a lot of people, they take out a second mortgage on their home when they start getting it close to getting paid off. They'll take out another mortgage. It might be an option if it's going to lower the overall long-term amount of a home and lower the monthly payments. I mean, I don't think
I
it's
understand
I
that.
don't think it's a horrible idea.
The part I was thinking about was actually ending up holding the deed of the home
Yeah.
as the property, not like reinvesting like what you're talking about, taking out second mortgage to do whatever.
Yeah.
Ain't that what you do a second mortgage with?
Well, you take it out and do whatever you want to with it. I don't know. But it's
50 years, man. I disagree with that. Okay. That just puts. I mean, I just want to chat on that for a second too. I think that's ridiculous.
Okay. I mean, I
In the
don't
80s
think it'll ever happen, but it's just something that the president threw out there.
I'm going to say this real quick. In the 80s, I had a hard time getting a loan for a 15-year mortgage. The banks did not want to go that short because the
Right.
money that was involved.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you what, when I did finally find a loan, the rate for a 15-year mortgage was like $30 cheaper than the 30-year mortgage due to
Really?
the interest. Yeah,
Wow.
man, I couldn't believe it.
There you
This
go.
was in the mid-'80s. This is true, man. This is a true story.
Yeah.
Charlie, I love your show, man.
Appreciate it, Richard. Thank you. And now, ladies and gentlemen, let's go to the Speaker of the House of the Sovereign State of Jamestown, the one and only JR. How you doing, JR?
Hey, man, listen, if Jim is still listening, I like that guy. I like that guy. Listen, okay, you started on Jim Clyburn, your friend and mine,
Yeah.
not. But this guy, if Drew McKissick is listening, I don't know if he is or not, but listen, there was a young man, maybe 2 years ago, by the name of Duke Buckner that ran against Jim Clyburn. Okay, long story short, why the state party didn't throw everything and the kitchen sink behind Duke Buckner to run against Jim Clyburn, I have absolutely no idea. But nevertheless, the guy is useless. He's a Democrat, first of all, so
Right.
that explains it all. But the guy is totally useless. And so for people to refresh their memory, all they have to do is remember the 2020 election, and Joe Biden's campaign was literally circling the drain.
Yeah.
And thank you, Jim Clyburn, in addition to the other kerfuffles you have provided our country and our state with. He's got to go, man. He's got, his district, they gerrymandered his district.
Oh, have you seen it? It looks like an amoeba. It looks like something you'd see in a petri dish.
So that's why that joker continues to get elected. Now, honestly, to God, I wish I lived in Orangeburg because I would have ran against that guy decades ago. But he is worthless. And I would tell him personally to his face, he is worthless. He's useless. And I wish to God he would follow Nancy Pelosi's lead and retire from his. But we need a strong Republican candidate to personally drive to Orangeburg and campaign for that candidate if he's a Republican against Jim Clyburn. But,
yeah, I mean, this guy, Clyburn's been in office since '93.
Oh, God.
I mean, yeah, I know, right? I
Yeah.
said that's way too long. Way too long for this guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And performance, everything should be, politics should be performance based. If you don't perform, but then again, that's, hey, but that's up to the people. And
It's identity politics. That's what's going on in that district, and that district has suffered because of it. JR, I appreciate it, buddy.
yeah.
Thank you very much, my friend, for the phone call. Let's go to Ralph in Gaffney. Wants to talk about Jim Clyburn. Ralph, what's on your mind?
Can I be facetious?
You can be anything you want to be. This is America. Go right ahead.
Be illustrious and auspicious Jim Clyburn. Come on down. The price is right.
The price
you can buy
is
him
right.
for $1.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
But I've spoke to people all the time from down there, and I said he has done nothing for your district but raise his salary. $300,000. The poorest district in South Carolina. South Carolina State should have been years ago a major university if he would have asked for anything.
Yeah.
But he never asked for anything but for himself.
That's right. And the family, like
I
I said,
mean,
the only people in
it
that
is-
district that
it's
is
scary.
benefiting have the name Clyburn. You're right about that, Ralph. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. So there are a lot of people in this world. Well, let me rephrase that. There are some people in this world that I truly, truly admire. I really do. I think Mike Rowe is just fantastic. I think he's wonderful. I've got some professional athletes that I really like. I like Kirby Smart, the head coach of the University of Georgia. Ward Burton was my favorite NASCAR driver of all time. Tom Laban, my favorite golfer. President Trump, I really, really admire. But no matter how much I admire someone, no matter how much I think they're wonderful, I have dignity. I always have dignity. Dignity is something that you must guard at all cost. Guard your dignity. But you see, not everybody's like us. A lot of people just give their dignity away. And for that, we need to go to a radio talk show host. Her name is Stephanie Miller. Stephanie Miller is on from Monday through Friday, 6 to 9, on Sirius XM's Progress channel. Yes, she's a progressive liberal. Oh, progressive liberal, that does not even cover what Stephanie Miller is. She is a radical leftist. This woman decided the other day that she was going to take what little dignity a Democrat has left and completely throw it away. You see, she met one of her idols. Now, just to let you know, Stephanie Miller is a white lady. She met one of her idols the other day, Jasmine Crockett. Stephanie Miller, this radio talk show host on Sirius XM's Progressive channel, got down on her knees and kissed the feet of Jasmine Crockett. Folks, I'm not making this up. I'm not lying about it. The video is online. The photos are online. And Stephanie Miller admits, yes, she did. In fact, she said, why, yes, I did kiss the sneakers of Jasmine Crockett. And I do worship the ground she walks on. And she was lovely about it. Good night. Dignity much, Stephanie Miller? Unbelievable. There is only one person's feet that I would kiss. Well, I have to take that back because I do smooch my wife's toes on occasion. But that's between us. But the only person whose feet that I would kiss when he comes back, has holes in them. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Streaming stimulating talk and breaking news on your phone 24/7 on the Odyssey app. You're on the drive with the Charlie James Show.
News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, lots of folks on the phones this evening. Let's go to Jeff in Spartanburg. Jeff, how do you feel about Jim Clyburn?
I tell you what, Charlie, I got one thing to say about Clyburn.
All right.
And I can compare him to Fritz Hollings.
Yeah.
In the same vein that I remember reading years ago about Fritz, that it was some big lobby group, and they said that a lot of I think he was in Commerce or something, whatever he was on, and they said the best thing about Fritz Hollings is when he's bought, he stays bought.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's Clyburn in a nutshell for me.
Yep, I agree with you. I appreciate it, Jeff. I got a story about Fritz Hollings that maybe one day I'll share with you. Hey, I want to say hello and to a couple of guys out there. They're brothers, Peyton and Ethan. I got to meet them at the Ralph Norman event Monday night. You guys are fantastic. Folks, if you know Peyton and Ethan, and they're not listening right now because they got to go to school at Bob Jones University, you guys tell them that I said hey, and it was a pleasure meeting them. Let's go to Lee in Seneca. Let's talk about that 50-year mortgage. What do you think, Lee?
Hey, Charlie, I just want to say, first of all, 50 years is ridiculous for a mortgage, but Japan's been doing 100-year mortgages for about 30 years because of the high price of housing.
Really?
And it's done nothing to reduce the price of housing. It's allowed the affluent to get even wealthier because they're using it as a means to prevent paying capital gains taxes for their inheritance.
I had no idea. I'm certainly going to look into that, and I appreciate it, Lee. Listen, we're talking about these mortgages. I'll be honest with you. I don't know a whole lot about mortgages. All I know is I like mine. And I have a very low interest rate. And I ain't going to mess it up. I ain't doing nothing to mess it up. Let's go to Christina in Travelers Rest. Christina, what do you think about the 50-year mortgage?
Well, I have a question regarding that, and no one has brought this up. I know Trump, thank God for him, he continued responsible for continuing the corporate tax breaks and our much better standard deduction. But along with that, and this is my question to you, I don't know whether this was continued or not. Remember, there was the $10,000 limit of what you could, cumulative, of what you could claim for mortgage interest and state taxes,
right,
state and city taxes.
Yeah.
So if that's still that $10,000 limit, then this 50-year mortgage, that's not going to help these people who, I don't even know if you're in the financial situation that you have to get a 50-year mortgage. I don't know whether you even think about things like, about this combined maximum of $10,000. So do you know if that was continued?
I'll be honest with you, no, I don't.
So, no, regarding the 50-year mortgage, because, of course, that was part of the $10,000 mortgage interest. So no one has brought that up yet. So, anyway, that was my question. So,
all right, well, we'll certainly look into that. Eric wants to talk about it. Eric, what's going on?
Charlie, I'd give you a 5-word reason why it's a bad idea to have 50-year mortgage.
Okay.
And that would be student loans and college tuition. Because when, it might work out for the first year or so, but after people start saying, well, people can get all this money to buy a house, next thing you know, the cost of a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom, snug as a bug's ear and just about as big, tiny home is going to go to $750,000 because, you can get a loan that'll cover that.
Yeah.
And you can refinance at some point. That's the same. That's the same thing that the colleges have been using excuse fees. Well, we got to raise our tuition, but hey, don't worry about it. You can take out a good old loan from the government. You can always pay it back later, and you don't have to worry about the cost of our college.
Eric, I don't know what the answer is, but man, have you seen the price of a new house lately?
Oh yeah.
Good
gracious. I work in the construction part of the industry, and
You
the
know.
stuff they charge for things. I mean, you're looking at $10,000 for a new heat and air system.
Yeah.
Where, 10 years ago you could buy one for 4 or 5.
Right.
I mean,
And not to mention
heat and air system's
the
double.
cost of lumber. That is through the roof, man, literally and figuratively. Eric, I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's go to Sam in Anderson. Sam, what's on your mind?
Hey, I just want to follow up with the lady that was like a couple callers ago. Her assumption was incorrect about that $10,000 mortgage interest deduction. So the $10,000 was the SALT tax, state and local tax. That was $10,000. That has been bumped up to $40,000.
Okay.
But the mortgage interest is outside of that, so you can go well beyond that $10,000.
Well, that's certainly good to know. I appreciate it. Thank you very much, Sam. Coming up in just a few minutes, we'll talk a little bit about yesterday. It was Veterans Day, and we've got some amazing recruiting numbers that have come in that we haven't seen in a long, long time. I don't know if you guys have been keeping up with these riots at Berkeley, at Turning Point USA. Want you to listen. This is from CBS News in the Bay Area talking about the riots at Berkeley.
Here in the Bay Area, it comes just 2 months after the killing of Turning Point's founder, Charlie Kirk, who was supposed to headline tonight's event. Our Amanda Harry is live on the scene there where protesters also showed up. We've already actually seen at least one fight break out. Amanda.
Yeah, things have been lively here. While that Turning Point USA event is still happening inside, protesters have been out here for hours. You can see them still here behind me. They have been chanting, just a very, very lively scene out here. While things have been mostly peaceful.
Mostly peaceful, really? Let's listen to Layla. She's with Turning Point USA at Berkeley.
It's not safe anymore to walk around Berkeley as a conservative. It's a very dangerous place. Antifa is prevalent, and it's a domestic terror group that needs to be handled with. And quite frankly, with all their defund the police chants, I don't think the police are intervening enough and protecting the students enough.
Antifa is basically like if we had a group that just in the South, if we had a group in the South that had a uniform and went around and terrorized people who were trying to hold speeches, like the Klan did back in the day, like we'd be able to say this is a domestic terror group and should be.
Absolutely. They should be targeted. They're throwing bottles, they're rioting, but remember, CBS Bay Area says mostly peaceful. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour, every afternoon on the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Well, yesterday was Veterans Day. Hope all you veterans out there had a glorious day. I hope you got your free bloomin' onion. I hope you got your Grand Slam breakfast at Denny's. I hope you went to IHOP and got whatever they were giving. I hope so many people came up to you yesterday and said thank you for your service. We really appreciate it. I hope it was glorious for you. Lots to talk about out there now about the military. And as I said at the event on Monday night, last time I went to the USS Yorktown, I was walking down that long walkway. And by the way, when you get to the USS Yorktown parking lot, you're about 10 minutes away from the USS Yorktown. Long walkway. And I was looking at that magnificent aircraft carrier. And I used to think, when that thing was in service, and all of our warships, there used to be a time when these ships would show up, there were two responses. One response was, thank God the Americans are here. The other response was, oh, hell, the Americans are here. Joe Biden did as much as he possibly could do to diminish our military. And I am so thankful that we have a commander-in-chief and a secretary of war in Donald Trump and Pete Hegseth that is bringing our military back to its former glory. In fact, so much so that the Coast Guard has had the highest recruiting numbers this year, higher recruiting numbers than they've had in 35 years. 35 years. And you can hear similar stories in all of the branches of military. Let's go to Jeff in Easley. Jeff, welcome.
How you doing, man?
I'm great. What's up, bud?
Pertaining to Veterans Day, but really, I want to just get your take on it. I think Trump pretty much slapped us in the face, though. I mean, I voted for him, and I hope he keeps doing a job, but to invite that dude from Syria over here, to me, it was a slap in the face.
Okay, it's this little thing called diplomacy, and there are certain things you have to do, and I trust President Trump to do the right. Do you really think he believes that he is going to have somebody in there that is going to do any damage to the United States? I mean, do you trust him that little?
I mean, no, but I mean, do you understand how many people that guy's killed? They should have arrested him as soon as he set foot on our territory.
Well, the same could have been said for Ahmadinejad, but he got invited to speak in New York.
Well, anyway, I just want to get your take on it.
Listen, there's no president out there that has supported our troops more than Donald Trump. Let's not go turning on him now. Want to go to Brian in Simpsonville. Let's kind of wrap up this 50-year mortgage discussion. Brian, welcome.
Thank you for calling. First-time caller, long-time listener.
I'm going to give you the bell then. There you go.
Thank
All
you,
right,
sir.
what's
Appreciate
up?
it. Your caller earlier talking about the, people basically borrowing mortgages to a payment. That's one issue. But the two things I was thinking about was the lender's always going to protect themselves, and they're going to raise PMI. And, so we're not thinking about those things. And then think about what the new down payments need to be or the new deposits to purchase a home, which they'll probably nearly double as well. And that's all I had for you.
No, you're probably right. I mean, I don't know a lot about it. Let's go to Billy in Greer. Billy, welcome. Oh, hold on. Billy, welcome. How are you?
Payment.
Go ahead.
Fine, Charlie. How are you?
I'm good. What's up, man?
I was just looking up a house right now. If you pay $425,000 for it, and you make an $85,000 down payment at 5.5% for a 50-year loan, you end up paying $926,443 with a $1,900 payment a month.
Good.
You'd end up paying $586,000 $443 in interest.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that is.
That's what I'm saying.
Did you? I did not know this, but I found this out today. Did you know that when you buy a house, almost a third of the cost of that house comes from government regulations?
No, I didn't know that.
Yeah, a third. Unbelievable. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much. Let's go to Let's go to Charlie. How you doing, Charlie? Charlie, are you there?
Hello?
Hey, Charlie, how's it going?
It's going okay.
Good, good. What's up, man?
Yeah, my name is actually Carlos, but the person taking the name's couldn't spell it or anything, so I said, okay, in English it's Charlie.
You're right. Carlos, what's going on, man?
Yeah, I was calling because we're having the same issues in North Carolina with the homelessness and stuff.
Yeah.
And I thought I had a solution. I'm originally from California, but California is a hellhole. Let's face it.
Yeah, it is.
I moved here because it's much better. I love it. Anyways, I moved here about 2017, 2018, and I thought I had a good idea. Weather is much better in California. You can buy tickets, bus tickets for people, non-refundable in California.
There you go. I love
much
it.
Better weather.
Yes.
I don't have to worry about freezing to death. Out here it's very dangerous.
That's right.
That's
right.
I wouldn't buy a blanket. I wouldn't buy blankets for people, but I would donate to get non-refundable, non-exchangeable tickets to LA.
There you go. I mean, they would certainly, Gavin Newsom would welcome them in LA. I appreciate it, Carlos. Oh, yeah. Go to LA. You go to Portland. Go to all those places. And the Pacific Northwest is wonderful. It really is. Well, folks, I got a couple of, listen, if you have not followed me yet over on Twitter, X, I would love for you to do that. I'm at Charlie on Air. That's at Charlie on Air. I would love for you guys to get over there because I got some idiots over there. Got a couple of idiots over there over on X, and they're commenting about a story that broke today, just coming in right before I started coming into work. There was this story, and it was a bombshell story, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, you're not gold. This is it. This is the one. This is the one that's going to sink Donald Trump. This is the story that ties him to Jeffrey Epstein. This is the one. So the Democrats released some emails from, I guess, the Epstein family or whatever. Now, remember, they had the entire first Trump administration. They had the entire Biden administration. And now, all of a sudden, this is a real big issue. So they released these emails. Even the people in the mainstream media are saying that this is a bunch of junk. Listen to Wolf Blitzer and somebody else over on CNN with Jasmine Crockett. Listen to this.
This is an email from April 2nd, 2011. Republicans were saying that victim is Virginia Giuffre. As you know, she died by suicide. She's been very outspoken victim of Jeffrey Epstein. Here's the email right here on your screen. She wrote a book, as you know, and she did not accuse him of any wrongdoing. What do you make of that, and can you confirm that?
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously, it's redacted who the victim is, so I won't necessarily take the Republicans' word on who it is that's redacted. And I don't know why they would necessarily redact someone's name who is deceased at this point.
The Democrats did that, though. The Democrats redacted.
No. I understand,
Okay,
but I'm just saying, our biggest concern is to actually make sure that we are protecting victims. And obviously, she wrote a book. She told her truth.
Okay. All right. Now, who redacted the name Virginia Giuffre? It was not redacted in the original email. It was the Democrats that redacted their name. But I'll tell you one thing. I haven't seen a story die this quick a death in a long, long time. Well, you would actually have to go back to the Butler, Pennsylvania shooting That story died pretty quick, too. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
This is Mark Levin. Join me tonight at 7 following Charlie James for the Mark Levin Show, a News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Got to make a correction. Lily's mom's name at Select Restaurant is Beverly, not Deborah. I don't know where I got that from. Let's go to the phones. We'll talk to Michael in Gaffney. Michael, welcome.
How's it going there, sir?
It's going wonderful. What's going on with you?
Listen, I'm a veteran. I didn't get a chance to do much yesterday, being that I worked so hard as a truck driver. And but I was looking at some statistics last night as I got home, and I come to recognize that less than 7% of our population are actual veterans.
Yeah.
And then I asked GPT and to see if there, how many actual service members we have right now that are active. We have less than 1%.
Yeah, less than 1% of the population that go to work every single day protecting this country. That's amazing. It really is.
And that's something, which means that 99% are these people that think that they, are entitled to something, and they never sacrifice anything for anybody, including themselves. And it's like this is one of the reasons why I think our government and our country's so far gone is because there's no patriotism anymore.
You're right. Patriotism is definitely on the wane, but hopefully it will come back. Michael, not only do I appreciate you as a veteran, I appreciate you as a truck driver as well. Thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your phone call. But, if you just look at the military, my goodness. Army. The fiscal goal was 61,000 recruits. They met that in the first 4 months. Navy, they're exceeding their goals. Air Force exceeding their goals. Marine Corps, they're staying about the same. And the reason for that is because of that PT requirement that Pete Hegseth has come up with. He only wants the best of the best. Coast Guard, highest mark in decades. So, yeah, lots of people now. I think the patriotism is starting to come back. But you've got to have something to be patriotic about, right? And one of the reasons, and like Michael just said, if you only have 1% of our population that actually go out and serve in the military, to me, part of that is the reason why our veterans don't get the respect that they deserve. Well, it's only 1% of the population. I know. If you serve in the military, you should get the best quality care in everything. Everything. Period. Should not be you. And what I would like to do is have it where you don't even have to go to the VA. Now, I know the VA, a lot of them do great work. They really do. A lot of great doctors, a lot of great nurses, a lot of great staff. But I think you should get on your veterans card when you show up and you put that card down at any hospital, any urgent care, any medical facility, that should be taken care of. Period. All right? So we told you about that leftist radio talk show host that kissed the feet of Jasmine Crockett not long ago. There was another one that got his rear end handed to him. It was a guy over on Sirius XM, of course. It seems to be where they're trying to get their liberal pundits from these days. This guy's Dylan Douglas. So he was up against Scott Jennings the other night over on CNN. Let's take a listen to how this went. Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a minute, where are you? Oh, I got to turn that button on. Here we go.
You cannot put on the American people that Democrats were the one that were hurting people, making this plight.
Who was casting the votes against opening the government, Democrats or Republicans?
Who was
casting the votes?
Scott, who was wanting to cut SNAP benefits?
Nobody.
And who was playing up
SNAP
SNAP benefits after 2 courts ruled that it was unallowed?
Republicans voted to fund SNAP 15 times. Democrats voted to defund it 15 times. And now it took, and we had to get 8 to join us.
You talk about the Affordable Health Care Act, okay?
It's terrible.
Landmark legislation is not perfect. We understand that Democrats, Republicans, independents, 70% of Americans, not Democrats, not just independents, 70% of Americans believe that they should increase those subsidies past the dead mark of December, the COVID era subsidy benefits. So it's a huge, huge thing that Democrats, Republicans, 70% agree with. And look, when it comes to the government shutdown, I was of the persuasion that to go for it, I didn't really get it. Democrats wanted a fight. They got a fight. Chuck Schumer, back in last year, didn't fight. He got a lot of flack for it, particularly in his home state of New York. So they wanted a fight, but they found a fight that was worth fighting with talking about the Affordable Health Care Act. People were with them. Democrats were leading in the polls. We won big on Tuesday.
That's what it was for, right? It was for the election, right?
Well, I think we should have kept going. What I don't understand, and which I would love others to help me out understand, I don't understand why we caved so soon when the American people, it seemed to be on our side.
Because the election ended. You just said it. It was for the election.
It was the election. I mean, how is that? Somebody tell me how that little snot-nosed punk who cannot put two sentences together has a national show on Sirius. It must not be very hard. I mean, the bench depth must be pretty shallow over there at Sirius XM. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
type your message on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
Well, the government shutdown, you know how long it could have lasted? And I don't mean as long as it has been now. This thing could have been over almost immediately. Once the Democrats realized that the Republicans weren't going to cave in. Listen to this from Fox News. Pretty amazing.
A group of moderates came to Chuck Schumer 2 weeks into the shutdown, 2 weeks in, and said, we're ready to reopen the government. He said, no, hold out. Wow. No, hold out. Mid-October, he said to his entire caucus that if anyone tried to reopen the government, he would stand against them. That's according to sources that told Axios. So shame on Chuck Schumer. I know he's gotten the rap as the moderate, being beholden to the far left. No, he caused the pain. He pushed the pain through, along with Hakeem Jeffries. And it's quite sad to see the radical left take over that.
2 weeks into the shutdown, Democrats had had enough. They're like, we don't want to do this anymore, Chuck. No, you're going to do it. You're going to do it. But was the pain actually worth it? Well, to some Democrats, it absolutely was.
But done worth it? Yeah, I think so. I hate it. But, yeah, it was worth it, definitely. We got people to pay attention to the fact that this is a traumatic, in many cases, life or death situation for people all over this country. Was the shutdown worth it?
I think it was, because I think the perception, we made it clear that this, not just the healthcare issue, but the whole issue. I think it was remarkable when the president tried to use SNAP as the punishment to force us to capitulate.
Yeah, it was worth it. It was worth it. Well, they finally caved in, and not everybody is happy about it. I want you to listen to this guy. He's over on TikTok. He goes by the name The Gray Canary. He is not happy at all.
The capitulation of a few Senate Democrats is as backstabbing a betrayal as we will ever need to unite as a true Democratic Party and dismantle the leadership that put us in this position. Mamdani has shown us the way. It is time to end the era of the feckless Democrat, too scared to unify the party and stand up to Donald Trump, to stand up to lawlessness, and in this case, to fight for Americans. And let's remember, what Republicans are doing is robbing millions of Americans of their health insurance. It is horrible what Republicans are doing, and it is equally bad that Democrats have lost their spine in standing up to it. But this is the moment when we recognize that is the old Democratic Party, and it is time to make way for the new Democrats who are born of courage and battle for the American people, not for bowing down out of fear.
That guy was big mad. He was spitting. He was literally spitting mad. He was, oh my goodness. Please let Zohran Mamdani be the face of the new Democrat Party, the neo-Democrats as we will call them. Please let him, Rashida Tlaib, Ilhan Omar, let all AOC, please let them be the face of the new Democrat Party. Because when you get people that far to the left, that wildly to the left, it's going to be disastrous. Even Colbert was talking about the shutdown or the reopening of the government. Let's take a listen to what Charleston's own embarrassment said.
So yes, the shutdown may have been long and painful for millions of Americans, but at least it achieved jack squat. That is, and we know why Jack is squatting. But these Democratic defectors did get one concession. Senate Majority Leader John Thune promised them a vote on the ACA in December, because that's when people get down to serious work.
So he called them defectors. People that actually voted for SNAP benefits to continue, people that actually voted for paying federal workers, they are now, by the radicals on the left, defectors. Let's go to Lucas in Piedmont. Lucas, welcome.
Hey, how's it going, Charlie?
It's good, bud. What's up, man?
So, I mean,
first I'm going to talk about the TikTok you just played, and this guy sounds a little bit angry, and that's a common theme that we see with our leftist friends on TikTok and other platforms. If you translated that to German, I wonder what historical context that would sound like.
I thought the exact same thing.
You could take it, turn it into German, and put it over some historic black and white footage, or just take his own video and make it black and white. And I think it would have the exact connotations of 1930s.
Yeah, you are exactly right.
We won't make those comparisons like they do.
The great Mondani is a Mondani. Oh my goodness, you're right about that, Lucas.
But you also played Stephen Colbert, and I mean, it's about time that guy just, put it to rest. I mean, the fact that he's calling them, defectors and whatnot.
Yeah.
And every time a Republican steps across the aisle, they're like, oh, they're doing it for the good of the people. And, they're ending the shutdown because people are suffering. To the TikTokers, point of view, I don't think Trump was the one who, held people for hostage with SNAP benefits. You can't exactly use government funds when the government is shut down.
You're exactly right. No matter what a judge
didn't
says.
Say that suffering was leverage, right?
Yeah, they all said that. That's our leverage. You're right about that, Lucas. I appreciate it. Let's go to Cassandra in Greenville. Cassandra, what do you think about the Third Reich TikTok guy there?
Well, I'll tell you, Charlie, it made me pick up the phone.
Yeah.
It's just, but I've got to share this with you and your audience, because this morning my husband and I were chatting, and I said, wow, whatever new thing we heard. I said, you know what, 1984, Orwell was fantastic. I adore it, but he didn't go far enough. Look how really bad things are. And my husband said, and I just went, yes, that's it, because I keep saying these people are desert. And he said, Lois, it's like the ones that are on the lowest rung of the staircase, walking up on the Twilight Zone, and then they find out that the book has been translated and that it's a cookbook.
Yeah.
To serve man. And
Yeah.
I'm saying, yes, you hit it on the head. How are all of these people voting for someone who is going to destroy their lives? It's just insane.
You're right. How to serve humans.
It's Twilight Zone.
Yeah, you're exactly right, Cassandra. I appreciate it. Thank you. Got to hit a break here. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, this is Tara. Start your day with common sense information and opinion with me on The Tara Show tomorrow morning, starting at 6. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
The following segment was paid for by Mark Lynch for Senate.
Hey everybody, it's Charlie James. Mark Lynch is running against Lindsey Graham to be your next senator from the great state of South Carolina, and he joins us right now. Mark Lynch, hope you're doing well, sir.
I'm doing great, Charlie. Hope you are as well.
Absolutely. We hear a lot about illegal immigration, Mark, but what about legal immigration? We've got a problem there, too, with the H-1B visas, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess everybody understands the H-1B visa. It's a non-immigrant visa that allows, United States employers to temporarily employ foreign workers, and it's taking our jobs from our country's citizens that were born here. The H-1B program does nothing more but create more unemployed American college graduates who graduated, by the way, with STEM degrees. It doesn't make sense to keep on importing an infinite number of foreigners who will work as wage slaves because it only drives pay lower for the STEM jobs for the United States citizens that are getting out of college seeking work. These foreign students come here and their governments actually subsidized their education here, so when they graduate, they can actually take less pay, and they do. They're 100% willing to take less pay than American students, and so they're absolutely taking our jobs from our American kids. This doesn't help American innovation, and it certainly doesn't help American students, their families, or companies. It's only helping foreigners. We have our United States population is estimated at 347 million. Charlie, 55 million of those people are on visas, 16% of our population. Now, the H-1 visa, the workers on H-1 visas and their spouses and dependent children total 1,280,000. And just last year in 2024, 284,000 were estimated to come in here with H-1B visas, and they mainly were from India and China. And so I'm advocating that we need to revoke all H-1B visas, and in fact, we need to go back and find all those that are working on them and see if they've jumped their visa and they're now hiding in our country. We're going back, and the government's recommending that we review the 55 million total visa holders of all types of visas, and we need to see that if these visa holders are breaking the rules, if they've already gone past their extensions and they need to be deported. This is a big problem, and it's hurting our kids who go to college and they're born in this country. And like one of these Clemson students said the other week that I interviewed, he said, these foreigners are never going to assimilate into our culture. And I was born here. I've lived here my whole life. So it's a problem.
It is a very big problem. Mark, how can people support you in your run for Senate?
Well, number one, we win this on our knees in prayer, but go to our website at lynchforsenate.com, and there's a place there to contribute and to volunteer, to sign up to help our campaign. And we're winning everywhere we go, and it's time to replace Lindsey Graham.
Mark Lynch, running for Senate in South Carolina. Thank you, Mark. We appreciate it.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Charlie.
Chat with Charlie.
800-905-0989. Save it on your phone.
This is the Charlie James Show, only on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
I tell you what, if you're ever like you're having a bad day, you're feeling down, maybe your gratitude tank is running on low. I know a way you can fill it up a little bit. All you got to do is think about what this country would be like if Kamala Harris had won that election. I know it's hard, but that will give you something to be thankful for. It is fully my belief that Joe Biden he went off script, and I'll go to my grave believing this. Joe Biden went off script when he said that he was going to nominate an African-American woman to be the first African-American vice presidential candidate. I don't think anybody had ever even talked about that. I don't think that was even the plan. But once he said it, everybody at the DNC, everybody in the staff, they were all like, well, we got to find somebody now. And the best they could find was Kamala Harris, who up until that time had never identified as African American. She was Jamaican and she was Indian. In fact, she ran in California. They did a big story on her when she got to be the Attorney General of the state of California about how she was the first Indian Attorney General. It was a big deal. But then once they decided that she was going to be the vice presidential candidate, then all of a sudden, Kamala, we got to make you black. All right? So she's like, but I'm married to a white guy. Doesn't matter. Forget Doug. We got to make it. You dated Montel, didn't you? Yes, you did. All right, good. You dated Montel. All right, that's perfect. But I never thought that was the plan. And she was literally the worst vice president that we have ever had. She was put in charge of our border. She was the border czar. I don't care what they say about it now. She was the border czar. Nothing got done. She was also the broadband czar. She was the person that was supposed to be in charge of hooking rural areas up to the broadband, high-speed internet. Do you know how many people got hooked up to the high-speed internet? Zero. None. Her job had to be the easiest job in the world. Get appointed to do all of these things and then just sit on your butt and do nothing. Well, that's what she did. Then the debate came. And when they were running for re-election, the debate came against Donald Trump, and we all witnessed Joe Biden's unbelievable cognitive decline. And then everybody, even the mainstream media, even Van Jones and all the folks on CNN going, this is a disaster, this guy's a disaster, we got to get him out of there. So then with the help of Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden jumps out of the race, trips out of the race. And Kamala Harris, a person who nobody cast a primary vote for, was once again selected. Now, remember this when they were all talking about no kings. They were the party that had no primary process for Kamala Harris. She was chosen to be the nominee. Chosen. And that's really when we saw her having to speak a lot more than she's ever spoken. And we started hearing the word salads. We must look past what was and look forward to what is to be, and all of that stuff that she used to say. And Russia is a big country, and Ukraine is a smaller country, and the big country invaded the smaller country. Do you remember all that? You'll be able to see the moon with your own eyes. And these kids are like, yeah, we've seen a telescope before. So she was a disaster. Well, now she's got this book out, 107 days, and she's going all over the country. And why she's getting any press is beyond me. Because, again, nothing she says makes sense. So she was on this podcast the other day talking about her campaign. Let's take a little bit of a listen.
I was aware of my opponent's strategies, and I wasn't about to fall prey or fall into those traps. And part of his strategy and those around him was to try and take me off our game and message. And I wasn't about to be distracted by those flames that he was trying to throw to get me away from one of my highest priority, which was talking to people about the economy and their well-being in terms of their financial well-being. And so I understood the game that was being played, and I made a decision that I wasn't going to get played. And
chess, not checkers. Got it. Chess, not checkers.
Yeah, three-dimensional chess, I'm telling you.
Three-dimensional chess. Could somebody tell Kamala Harris that all chess is three-dimensional chess, unless you're Trump and you're playing four-dimensional chess? We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
15 minutes of breaking news and stimulating talk begins every hour on The Charlie James Show. Afternoons 3 to 7 on News Talk 98.9.
WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Hey, Charlie.
Let's talk.
It's the right talk.
Charlie.
Welcome. This is the Charlie James Show.
Now we're talking.
News Talk 98.9.
WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, we've been hearing a lot recently about the unbelievable mess that they have up in North Carolina, especially in the Charlotte area, especially since Ariana Zarutska was murdered on the light rail system there. That really highlighted the serious problems they have in North Carolina. You guys, next election, you conservatives out there need to show up in droves and make sure that you change your state. They've got a huge problem with their judicial system, with their rogue judges, their soft on crime judges, and they've got a huge problem with illegal immigration. Want you to listen to this story, and it might be a little difficult to listen to, but here we go.
Ronald Santos Deras assaulted his girlfriend at a home on Farmhurst Drive in South Charlotte last Sunday. That's just off Nations Ford Road. The next day, the victim gave birth to a stillborn fetus. Santos Deras turned himself in. He's facing several charges, including murder of an unborn child and assault on a female.
This man, Arnold Santos Deras, punched his girlfriend in the his pregnant girlfriend in the stomach until he got tired. Until he got tired. Illegal alien in Charlotte murdered an unborn child. That's unbelievable. That's what, when you import the third world, you become the third world. Now that may be standard practice where you come from, but here we frown on things like that. But it's not surprising. In North Carolina, they're actually registering illegal aliens to vote.
Prosecutors are accusing the Department of Motor Vehicles of illegally registering to vote. He is 22. With the help of Jorge's fluent Spanish,
Buenas tardes.
We made contact with two of them who had similar things to say.
She made it clear that she did not register incorrectly. She was not fraudulent on anything. She had no idea until they reached out to her.
No idea they were registered to vote. That echoes U.S. Attorney Russ Ferguson's words in this letter to the DMV in July, urging them to investigate how 6 non-citizens were registered to vote without the person understanding or knowing what had happened. Records we obtained of lengthy letters between the U.S. Attorney's Office and the DMV show the DMV investigated and claimed that it found no evidence of systemic issues. Ferguson disagreed and said the DMV hadn't fully answered his questions. In some of the cases, the DMV said it was a matter of a staffer checking the wrong box on the registration application. A box that same form warns filling out falsely could lead to felony prosecution. Although Ferguson did say in a statement he would not be prosecuting the individuals.
Okay, so here's what happens. Maybe you're wondering. These people come in and see, here's the thing though. Same thing was happening here, or is happening here in South Carolina. We'll get to that in just a second. So these people go out and they register these folks to vote. And listen, I don't think these are isolated incidents. I think they happen a lot more than we're aware of. So they register these people to vote, illegal aliens. So then what happens is the Democrat Party, they get this information. And they go down the voting rolls there and they go, oh, this person does not have an English-sounding name. Hey, Hank, go vote for this guy. Go tell them you're this guy, and they'll find your voter registration, and you vote for a Democrat, okay? All right, hurry back. We got plenty more for you to do. So they will take these names, and remember, these people don't even know they've registered to vote. They have no idea. So they're not going to go to the polls, or some of them, aren't going to go to the polls and say, hey, I'd like to vote. Oh, I'm sorry, somebody's already voted in your name. Happens all the time. Now, we had the same issue here in South Carolina not long ago. Well, we still have it, actually, where they were giving voter registration information to anybody that signed up for any social services whatsoever. If you go in for SNAP benefits, if you go in for welfare, if you go in for whatever, they give you that form, and people fill them out, and they send them back in. And there are people out there that will take that information and take it to the polls. Now, the Freedom Caucus, they tried to stop all of that. In fact, they raised the alarm about it. And the members, the rhinos in our House of Representatives down in Columbia, they mocked the Freedom Caucus. They mocked them, openly mocked them, made fun of them, wore tinfoil hats on the floor of the House. I believe that was Micah Caskey that did that. So, yeah, that's a huge problem. That's why we got to have voter ID. I mean, I know we do here, but every single state must have voter ID. Hopefully one day that will happen. If we can get, and this is why people are supposed to say, oh, Charlie, why are you against doing away with the filibuster? Well, I have a perfect example. There are 100 bills in the Senate right now that cannot come to the floor because they got to have 60 votes. And John Thune knows they're not going to get 60 votes, so they just sit there. And the Trump administration's initiatives, all of his directives, those are going by the wayside. They have literally wasted a year of the Trump administration with nothing. And if they don't do away with the filibuster, and if they don't start passing some of President Trump's initiatives, then what are they going to have to run on in the midterm elections? What have they done? What have they accomplished? Yes, they stood up to the Democrats on this government shutdown, but what else have they done? We cannot be so afraid of what the what the Democrats might do that we don't act ourselves. And that leads me to this. When you're making a decision on who to vote for, on whom to vote for, we all know what the candidates say they're going to do. What are they going to fight for? Oh, we all know that. I'm going to fight for this, and I'm going to fight for that, and I'm going to fight for the other thing. But I want to know, what are you going to fight against? What are you going to fight against? Are you going to fight the establishment in Columbia? Are you going to fight the establishment in the city of Greenville? Are you going to fight the establishment in Greenville County, Spartanburg, same way? Are you going to fight? What are you going to fight against? That's what I want to know. And if you will fight against the establishment, because we've seen where they've gotten us so far, there's a good chance you'll get my vote. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
When nasty weather strikes, stay in the know with the upstate's largest staff of meteorologists 24/7 on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas. Interact on the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line.
800-905-0989. Text or call. One number does it all.
800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones and talk to Chuck in Mills River. How you doing, Chuck?
Well, I'm a lot warmer than I was 48 hours ago.
Let me tell you something. I just a little aside here. I have some camellia bushes in my yard. Since we moved here 5 years ago, these things have not bloomed. This year, they were loaded with buds just a couple of days ago. Every single one of them is dead. Every single one. I am so mad about that. It has been cold over the past 2 days.
It was pretty crazy up here. Like I say, it was snowy and lovely, and all of that. Just like it's really kind of hard to see, kind of like through the filibuster. I got to agree with you. Let's can't we do away with it?
I think it would be the best thing.
Back into place before if the inevitable, what we're being told is inevitable, that the Republicans are going to lose in the next election, or the next year. Couldn't we do away with it? Get the president's plan in place, and then take it away and have to fight about it a different day? Because I know I'm probably oversimplifying it, but I agree. Because most people, when you think about filibuster, you hear about it and all, but I think this is one of the few times in my lifetime where you've had to actually think about a filibuster.
Yeah.
What does it actually mean, as far as if we're at a crossroads in history? People can say that about any day of the week, but we really are. And I've given a great deal of thought and listened to what you have to say about it and what other people and what I've thought about it. I'd get rid of it. And there's some things that need to be done. Yes, they're unpleasant. There's some unpleasant things need to be done. And I'm not talking about killing people or anything. I'm just saying, it's just like when you discipline a child, you're doing it for the right reason, hopefully.
Yeah.
You're trying to guide it, and sooner or later you got to make it 37 trillion. And you were talking about how many years it would take to count to a trillion, unless you're Tara.
Yeah.
Something's got to be done.
Yeah.
China's just waiting for. We're talking about civil war on Mike Gallagher today. China would love for it to happen sooner than later.
We are sitting here in this country in park. We are not moving forward. We're not advancing. The economy is stalling. If they don't do something and get President Trump's laws and the House's laws passed, then again, they're not going to have anything to run on in the midterms. What are they going to say they were able to do?
Yeah, exactly. And my guess is the Democrats are going to say, "Hey, lone Democrats, open the government for the Americans."
Yeah, that's coming. That's absolutely coming. Now, they're mad today. They're mad right now. But I predict come Monday, they're going to be like, "Look what we did. We are awesome, Chuck. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you very much." So we did have another story today. And this is from the Democrats. So they released, and by the way, I believe they did this because there's now going to be an investigation into the Clinton Foundation. So we have the Clinton Foundation, we got Arctic Frost going on with Jack Smith, and we've got the government opening back up. So the Democrats decided to kind of take your mind off of this, and they leaked, and I won't say released, they leaked a couple of emails that mentioned President Trump in regards to Jeffrey Epstein. Okay. Now, notice something here now. Notice something. They didn't release any emails about anybody else. Nobody else. They didn't release any of the emails that probably contained Bill Gates. Now, wait a minute. Hold on. Why was it? Why was it again that Melinda Gates divorced Bill Gates? Huh.
You know, it was also widely reported that Bill had a friendship or business or some kind of contact with Jeffrey Epstein, and that you were not, that was very upsetting to you. Did that play a role in the divorce at all in this process?
Yeah, as I said, it's not one thing. It was many things. But I did not like that he'd had meetings with Jeffrey Epstein, no.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you made that clear to him?
I made that clear to him. I also met Jeffrey Epstein exactly one time.
Did you?
Yes, because I wanted to see who this man was. And I regretted it from the second I stepped in the door. He was abhorrent. He was evil personified. I had nightmares about it afterwards. So
no, I don't remember any emails about Bill Gates today. Anybody, did they release any emails about Bill Clinton? No, of course not. It was only about Donald Trump. That was it. So what was in this emails? Well, literally nothing. But the Democrats tried to make it look like something. And they did that by redacting Virginia Giuffre's name from the emails. Now, remember, the original emails that came from the Epstein family, I guess, they did not redact Virginia Giuffre's name. It was the Democrats that did that to give you a little bit of suspicion. Because, you see, Virginia Giuffre has already exonerated Donald Trump from any wrongdoing. And we all know that. We all know that. So today, and even CNN is like, yeah, this is a bunch of, I've never seen a story die so fast in my life. It came in, it burned hot for about 5 minutes, and then it went away because everybody realized there's nothing there. Well, Representative Tim Burchett put out a resolution in the House today. Let's take a listen to what he says.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent of tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough.
Wait a minute, hold on. I'm sorry. Could you say that again? Who blocked it?
And and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough.
Oh, the Democrats blocked the UC that would have released the Epstein files. I get you. I understand. You see, I don't think they really want them released. I think that what they want to keep doing is just leaking little bits and little bits and little bits here, doing a redaction here, a redaction there, to try to make Trump look bad. But they are going to protect their own. They don't want Bill Gates' name out there. They don't want Bill Clinton's name out there. They don't want all of these people's names out there. They don't want that. So they do what the Democrats do. They're dirty little tricks. Happens every time. All right, WORD talk line, 800-9050-989. That's also the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line. We'll be right back. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Breaking news and what to make of it all with me, Mike Gallagher, tomorrow 10 to noon, right after Tara on News Talk 98.9 WORD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Charlie speaks. You listen on your time. Get the show on demand. Text podcast to 800-905-0989. The Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
And welcome back to the program. Let's go to the phones and talk to Jimmy in Travelers Rest. Jimmy, welcome.
Hey, Charlie, how you doing?
I'm good, bud. What's up?
I've been listening to you talk about the doing away with the filibuster and that kind of stuff, and you know, I'm old enough to remember when it was a helpful thing and a hurtful thing, and during Reagan's time, how it saved us from some things that if we didn't have it, and I'm trying to get it straightened out in my mind why it would be a good thing to do now versus a bad thing for us later if we, you know, do it rather than just leave it the way it is. You know, I think the founding fathers put it there for a reason.
No. That is not the case. This was just a rule that really came about because they wanted to have unlimited debate in the Senate. This is not in the Constitution. It's not a law. It's just a rule that the Senate passed about how they operate.
So if it helped Reagan during his period by having it, how will it not hurt us later if we do it now? Is it more? I guess what I'm saying is it more beneficial to get what we need now than to worry about what it's going to do to us later?
Are Democrats different now than they were under Reagan?
Oh, absolutely not.
Yeah.
They're probably as violent or more violent.
No, I think they're wildly different. I think they're a lot more radical. I think they're a lot more divisive. I think all of that. So it takes 60 votes to get anything done in the Senate, right? 60 votes. You got to have that to break the filibuster.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
As long as we have, 53 Republicans in the Senate, nothing will get passed. Absolutely nothing.
Agreed.
We've got 100 bills sitting in the Senate waiting to be passed, and John Thune will not release them because he knows they're not going to pass. He knows they're not going to get the 60 votes. So the Senate is doing nothing. They've got no job.
So is John Thune really Trump's friend, or
no?
His adversary?
No. John Thune is a never Trumper and always has been. Absolutely.
That's what I thought. That's why it throws all these questions into my mind. Why or why not is it a good thing to do or not do?
If we go to the simple majority vote, we will get all of these bills passed. We will get voter ID passed. We will get the rogue judges bill passed. We'll get all of these bills passed, right? And they will become law. Without that, this is all going to have to be done under executive order, and the executive orders don't cover everything.
Right, and they're only temporary. So if we do this now, will that make this a permanent situation as far as what Trump gets to pass in his presidency, or is it undoable?
No, if they do away with the filibuster, all right, if they don't do away with the filibuster, the Democrats are going to do away with the next time they get in the Senate anyway. Right?
Yes, sir.
So they'll
we would assume so.
Yeah, they will definitely do that. They'll also pack the Supreme Court. So go ahead, do
we
it
would
now.
Assume that too.
If we don't do it now, basically everything comes to a grinding halt in the Congress and the Senate. It all comes to a grinding halt.
Yeah, it's just like it is right now. I mean, but I'm wanting to think forward. You know, I'm wanting to look at the end game and understand the near game. Is which one's worse than the other?
Well, all right. Let's say it's like an onside kick in football. Is there a chance that the other team is going to recover it after the ball travels 10 yards? Absolutely.
Certainly.
It's a good chance. But is there also that chance that your team is going to recover it and you are going to get the ball back with a chance to score?
So we're wanting to throw a Hail Mary right now is what we're wanting to do.
Pretty much, yeah.
Is that the best thing? Okay.
And I think
I mean,
that's the best thing
I'm trying to sort it out in my mind.
Because, again, if nothing gets done, who's going to vote for a Republican when they've got nothing to campaign on for the midterm elections coming up next year?
I agree. It's all based on performance.
That's right. And right now, they are not performing. I appreciate it, Jimmy. I hope that helps you a little bit. I just think it's the best thing to do. Is it perfect? Probably not. Could it come back to bite us? Well, then what we've got to do is we've got to make sure that it doesn't come back to bite us. They've got to perform in the Senate and the House at such a high level in getting this economy back steamrolling again and getting rid of all of this ridiculous regulations. And they've got to perform in a way where, you know what, J.D. Vance, Marco Rubio, whoever, DeSantis, whoever the next candidate for president, whoever the next president is, they're going to win in just as big a landslide as Donald Trump won. Let's go to Bob in Indian Land. Bob, what do you think about the filibuster?
How you doing, Charlie? I'm just kind of wondering here, if they do away with the filibuster, how many of the Republican rhinos will not vote the way along party lines?
It's possible. It is possible. Absolutely.
So would that not negate the nuking of the filibuster?
It could, but I mean, I think that's just so. Then it's not a Democrat problem; it's a Republican problem, and I think those Republicans are going to be primaried.
Well, I only hope so, but that's one of the fears that I have with this.
But the big fear that I have
Republicans just won't go along.
But nothing is getting done right now.
I understand that, but even if, like I said, if they do nuke the filibuster, they still won't be able to get it done because these guys won't vote along party lines.
Well, we're just going to have to hope that it happens.
Yeah, I mean, I do hope, but I'm just saying,
Yeah, I know you got to have
where they are.
Sometimes you got to have a little bit of faith, Bob. I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. Again, it's not perfect. Are there rhinos? Do you have the Rand Pauls out there that aren't going to vote on any spending whatsoever? Yeah, but you're going to have to overcome that. But again, they're doing nothing. This Congress has sent fewer bills to the president's desk than any other Congress in the past 70 years. Since before I was born, you would have to go back and find another Congress that has sent fewer bills to the president's desk. When's the last time the president had a big bill signing ceremony? Do you remember that? Yeah, July 4th. That was about it. That's it. The big, beautiful bill. And that was miraculous that even got passed. So anyway, what to do? I don't know. I just think if this country, more importantly, if this economy is going to move forward, we got to do something. When we get back, Scout Motors screws us over again. It's the Charlie James Show. News Talk 98.9 WRD, the voice of the Carolinas.
Get breaking news sent straight to your phone for free. Download the Odyssey app. Follow News Talk 98.9 WORD. Stay in the know with the voice of the Carolinas. Let your fingers do the talking.
Text the Common Sense Retirement Planning text line at 800-905-0989.
This is the Charlie James Show on News Talk 98.9 WORD.
The voice of the Carolinas.
All right, let's talk a little. I want to take 2 calls on the filibuster, and then I want to get to this Scout Motors story. Mike is in Mills River. Mike, welcome.
Hey, Charlie. How are
bud.
you doing?
I'm great, bud. What's going on?
Good. Well, first-time caller. Listened to you for quite a while, and I
You
appreciate
get the bell.
you.
I appreciate
Hey,
you. What's up, man?
Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. What's up?
Hey, the filibuster. I'm not so concerned about that. Let's abolish the 17th Amendment and get the states back to appointing 2 senators like it was originally written by our founders. What do you think about that?
You know what? I don't have a problem with that whatsoever. I really, really don't.
Well, that's the problem.
Yeah, isn't that the truth?
Yeah.
Isn't
And
that
if
the
the states
truth?
went to doing that, we wouldn't need this the filibuster.
Yeah, you're right about that, especially when you look at all the Republican governors that we have. I appreciate it, buddy. Don is in Fountain Inn. Don, what do you think?
Hey, I have a question for you.
All right.
How many votes in the Senate does it take to eliminate the filibuster?
You know what? That's a good question. That might only take a simple majority because that's a rules question. That's just a rules. That's not legislation. They're not
You know what
passing
I
a
would
law.
do? You know what I would do then?
What's that?
I would, and you would have to get the non-rhinos together to agree to this, but I would eliminate the filibuster, pass all this legislation that's backlogged, and then before the next major election, reintroduce the filibuster.
Bring it back in. You know what? That might be a heck of an idea. Yeah, it's true. But hey, why not? Give it a shot, right? See if it works.
Yes.
I appreciate it, Don. Thank you very much. Okay. It is being called and we're going to talk about this tomorrow too. It is being called one of the biggest job creation announcement in Charlotte over the past decade. Now, what am I talking about? Scout Motors. This is from Will Folks over there at Fitz News. South Carolina Republican, quote-unquote, lawmakers awarded crony capitalist car maker Scout Motors, a subsidiary of Uber Volkswagen, a whopping $1.3 billion in taxpayer-funded initiatives 2 years ago, despite the company receiving 0 credible offers from other states. The boondoggle came at the absolute worst time for the electric vehicles market, although Scout still envisions a massive manufacturing facility in Blythewood, which insists that one day will employ as many as 4,600 people. Will these lofty projections come to pass? Probably not. This week, Scout, which recently sought more money from Palmetto State politicians, made another big economic development reveal. Only this time, the company stiffed South Carolina in favor of our neighbor to the north. Today, Scout announced its intention to locate its new corporate headquarters in Charlotte, North Carolina. The deal will bring 12,000 high-paying corporate jobs to the Queen City, along with a capital investment of approximately $200 million. The average expected minimum wage of these positions, which are scheduled to come online between 2026 and 2030, is $172,000, $172,878. Now, North Carolina taxpayers, they're going to have to shell out a mere $46.5 million in corporate welfare in connection with the deal, which was clearly intended to send a message to South Carolina leaders. Charlotte beats out sites in South Carolina and Virginia, reports the Charlotte Observer. The Scout's rebuke of South Carolina for its corporate headquarters is a humiliation for the status quo. South Carolina Governor Henry McMaster, who's been the company's biggest cheerleader. Earlier this year, McMaster championed legislation which would have given the EV maker an undeserved leg up on the competition by ensconcing it as the only vehicle manufacturer permitted to bypass the Palmetto State's established dealer marketplace. That law says you cannot manufacture a car in South Carolina and sell it at the manufacturing plant. This bill was written, it might as well have been called the Scout Motors bill, because that's the only company that it would benefit. Sources close to McMaster's administration are blaming lawmakers for failing to approve the company's latest demands, including $10 million in one-time funding for EV training at South Carolina Technical College, $100 million in annual funding for the EV industry scholarships from the South Carolina Education Lottery. Had they anteed up, Scout would have come, a source said. Had they anteed up. Scout got an insanely good deal from South Carolina lawmakers 2 years ago, one no government in its right mind should have ever offered up based on prevailing market conditions. In fact, an estimated $400 million of the $1.3 billion boondoggle, which was drafted and rushed through the legislature in just 12 days, $400 million cold hard cash. And this is how that company repays the Palmetto State. When we gave Scout $1.3 billion to make things in South Carolina, why did we not treat it like a business contract? One economic development expert said. How the hell did we let them put 1,200 professional jobs in Charlotte? That is a good question. So they came to us for that money, $400 million, cold hard cash, total $1.3 billion. And now Scout Motors is sending their corporate headquarters to Charlotte. What a slap in the face. This bill, now don't let them tell you in Columbia that it takes time to do anything. It took them 12 days to make this agreement. Now, I didn't say deal because, you see, we never got to see the deal with Scout Motors. We got to see the bill. We got to see what leadership put forth, but we were never privy to the deal that they made with Scout Motors. That's what I wanted to see. What promises were made? What concessions were made? We dipped into our contingency fund to give them that amount of money. And I will still say, I do not believe that one single Scout Motors vehicle is ever going to come off of that assembly line in Blythewood. I just don't believe it's going to happen. I just don't believe it. So, Charlie, Henry McMaster is the worst Republican governor in the nation. I'm not going to disagree with that. That's why it is so important that whenever we get these candidates on that are running for governor, you need to pay attention. Go out, hear what they have to say. When we have those events like we had with Ralph Norman the other day, when we had with Alan Wilson, whenever we get these events going on, you need to show up because that's where you really learn something. That's where you learn what they're going to fight for and what and who they're going to fight against. And that's the big part. Are you going to fight against the status quo when they bring up bills like this? I certainly hope so. It was the worst deal ever made in South Carolina. And all you got to do is go back. Hey, remember that Carolina Panthers training camp that they just picked up tents and left town? Yeah, same thing. All right, we'll see you tomorrow. Y'all have a glorious evening. God bless. Buckle up. Bye, y'all.
15 minutes of breaking news and